What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions in the past couple of days have had a lot of news come out within the organization. Some good news, some not so good news, and a little bit of stuff in between. And in today's video, I wanted to go over these updates, talk about everything that's been going on, and just kind of, give everybody an update on where this Lions organization is at right now from, a bunch of different standpoints. So before we get into updates and before we get into talking about this Detroit Lions team and this organization, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes only 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's free, it's quick, it's easy, it takes only 2 seconds. It's a win-win situation. I get your help on the channel, you get great content from me. It's a win-win situation, so if you could just take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But without any further ado, and with all of that being said and out of the way, let's get into the updates about this Detroit Lions team and talk about where this team stands as of right now and some of the updates and some of the events that have happened in the past couple of days. Now, starting off with some of the positive news, the Detroit Lions have 3 Pro Bowlers that have been selected to the NFL Pro Bowl this season. They've been selected to the NFC squad. Of course, many Lions fans know that TJ Hockenson was leading Pro Bowl votes for a very, very long time while the votes were going on, and he did officially make the Pro Bowl as the starting tight end. He had the most Pro Bowl votes of any tight end in the NFC, which is why he is going to be the starter for the Pro Bowl game if it does end up getting played. And I mean, TJ Hockenson going to his first Pro Bowl in just his second season as an NFL player. He's coming off a phenomenal season with 2 games left in the NFL season, of course, but even with 2 games left in the NFL season, he already has 60 receptions for 675 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. He's 100 receiving yards away from a franchise record in receiving yards for a tight end in a season. I mean, he's coming off one of the best seasons a Lions tight end has ever had, and he absolutely deserves it, especially with George Kittle having a down year. He was probably the best tight end in the NFC this year, so him getting his first Pro Bowl nod, especially coming off an injury-riddled rookie season. I mean, it's really fun to see. It's really great to see him getting the recognition he deserves. He was the Lions' first Pro Bowler that was selected to the NFC squad. The second Pro Bowler the Detroit Lions have this year is Frank Ragnow, our starting center. I mean, Frank Ragnow, there's not a whole lot to say about Frank. I mean, he is just an absolute monster. He is a tank. Frank the Tank Ragnow played 871 snaps for the Detroit Lions, did not miss a single snap until last week when he was out with a fractured throat. But even while missing just 1 single game, he did play in 871 snaps for the Detroit Lions this season. Of course, we're hoping he is back this week to play yet again. He only has 2 penalties on the entire season, so he averages about 1 penalty every 7 games, and he has 0 sacks allowed on the season. He has not allowed a single sack. He allows very few pressures, very few hits on Matthew Stafford. It is a beautiful thing to see. Frank Ragnow, probably the best pick and the best acquisition from the Quinn Trisha era. He is making his first Pro Bowl and I believe his 3rd NFL season. So, I mean, it's about darn time. I mean, Frank Ragnow has been a great center. He was great last year. He was a good rookie. Like, he has been one of the NFL's better centers for quite a while, and him finally getting the recognition he deserves is really, really good to see by the Detroit Lions. And of course, as I said, he is set to make his first Pro Bowl appearance right alongside his teammate and TJ Hockenson. Now, the Detroit Lions do have a 3rd Pro Bowler on the roster this season, and that is their first-year punter, Jack Fox. Now, Jack Fox, as I said, making his first Pro Bowl appearance after one of the best seasons a punter can have. He had 49 punts on the NFL season, which is not that many in comparison to many of the other punters in the NFL. However, even in a limited use, even in limited snaps and limited opportunities, Jack Fox still averaged 49.3 yards per punt, which is top 5 in the NFL. He had a long of 67 this year, which is again top 5 in the NFL, and he did down 21 of his 49 punts within the 20-yard line. So, I mean, very good season, Pro Bowl caliber season, obviously, from Jack Fox. I mean, we know how good Jack Fox is. Lions fans have known how good he is since the first week of the NFL season. And the fact that he's finally getting a little bit of recognition, he's finally getting a little bit of, recognition as a Detroit Lion. Obviously, he got Special Teams Player of the Week or of the month in the first month of the season, which was great to see. And, I mean, Jack Fox is just getting his recognition. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's been one of the NFL's best punters this season, and he deserves every bit of credit and every vote that he earned, he absolutely deserves it. And I mean, the Detroit Lions, for being a 5-9 football team, did have a lot of pretty good players, and I know those three were the only three that got into the Pro Bowl, but I thought Taylor Decker had a very good season. He was one of the best tackles in the NFL while playing some of the best pass rushers. I believe he only allowed 2 sacks on the season and many more snaps, and I believe only had 3 penalties. Like, Taylor Decker had a very good year. Romeo Okwara had a very good year. I thought Danny Shelton statistically wasn't great, but he had such a huge impact. He could have been a potential Pro Bowler. Like, we had a lot of very good players and a lot of really good pieces on this team. Of course, only 3 guys made it, but I think you could make a case for Ragnow. I think you could make a case for Danny Shelton. I think you could make a case for Romeo Okwara and even Matthew Stafford. So, I mean, this team overall, success-wise, win-wise, did not do great this season, but they did have a couple Pro Bowls, and they did have a couple guys that were very, very in the running for Pro Bowl racing. I think Taylor Decker got robbed. I think he was one of the better tackles this year, and I think he deserved a Pro Bowl nod. Again, if you look at the stats, he's one of the better tackles in the NFL, one of the best tackles of the 2020 season. I think he should have made the Pro Bowl as well, but, you know, I can't complain with 3 Pro Bowlers by this Lions team, because generally, we don't even get that from the NFL. We don't even get that from the fans or the NFL themselves. You know, moving on to the second news, moving on to the second update for this Lions team. Yesterday, the Detroit Lions did activate Julian Okwara from injury reserve. He has been on injury reserve, I believe, since the Jacksonville game, so it's been quite a while since we've been able to see him on the field. However, he was activated from the injury reserve. I would expect him to get quite a bit of playing time in the next couple of weeks. I would expect Buccaneers and the Vikings game to be big games for him. I would expect him to get a lot of snaps, a lot of snap counts. You know, maybe he's rushing off the edge with his brother, maybe he's rotating with Romeo, maybe he's rotating with Everson Griffin if he ever comes back. Like, there's a lot of opportunity for Romeo or for Julian Okwara to get in, to get his snaps and to make his impact. And I would not be surprised if we see Julian Okwara getting a lot of snaps. I would not be surprised if we see him getting more snaps on the defensive line, or maybe at that jack linebacker position, or somewhere in between. You know, I think there's a lot of roles he can play. I think there's a lot of roles that he can fill, and I would expect him to have a big impact these last 2 games, especially with some of the depth issues, especially with some of the injury concerns the Lions are dealing with right now. Bringing back a very talented and young pass rusher, along with a very athletic and young pass rusher, is going to be very helpful for this Detroit Lions team, especially considering the next update I have. Now, the third and final update for today, the third big piece of news that came out yesterday or on Tuesday for this Detroit Lions team, is that the Detroit Lions had 2 players test positive for the coronavirus. They had 1 player, and I believe it was Anthony Pittman, who has obviously been placed on the COVID reserve list, and they had 1 non-player personnel test positive as well. He is obviously quarantining, he's obviously self-quarantining and staying away from the football team at this point in time. However, that's not where the big news comes in, and that's not where the concerning news comes in. The concerning news is that Darrell Bevell, the current interim head coach, is also related to contact tracing, so he may not be at Saturday's game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have to check. Obviously, he has to test negative a couple of times, but he has been linked to contact tracing with the individuals that did test positive, along with a majority of our defensive coaching staff. I believe they said almost every single member of the defensive coaching staff is in self-quarantine right now and is related and is connected to contact tracing. So, I mean, there's a lot of head coaches, and they're not head coaches. There's a lot of coaches for this team, a lot of defensive coaches, and of course, our interim head coach in Darrell Bevell that may not be at Saturday's game versus the Buccaneers. The Detroit Lions may be without their interim head coach. They may be down to their 3rd head coach, and they could be out. They could be without obviously their special teams coordinator, who they fired the other day. They may be without Corey Unlin, as he is a defensive guy. He is a defensive coach, so he is related to contact tracing. He may not be at the game. Darrell Bevell is related to contact tracing. He may not be at the game. So not only are the Lions going to be without their main head coach to start the season, they're also going to be without their interim head coach and all 3 major coordinators, along with a lot of other defensive coaches that call plays and help coach up the game. You know, all of that's happening with the Lions while they're on a struggling streak, why they struggle to put up points, while they're struggling on defense already, and why we're dealing with injuries and all of this other stuff. A lot of our coaches may not even be at Saturday's game while we're going up against one of the better playoff contenders in the NFL in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Gronkowski, all those guys. You know, the Lions are struggling already. They're going up against a playoff contender. They're going up against a very good team in Tampa Bay, and they might not even have their coordinators or a lot of their coaches at this football game. I mean, that is crazy to me, and they might push it back. They might cancel the game if it needs to be canceled. I wouldn't I wouldn't, expect that. I would expect them to keep playing. I would expect the Lions to play with who they have, and I would expect the Buccaneers to play with who they have. But the Lions are going to be without a lot of their coaches on Saturday. A lot of the status is unknown. A lot of the status is unclear right now. Darrell Bevell could still make an appearance. Corey Undlin could still be there. A lot of the coaches could still be at the game. But as of right now, it is looking increasingly unlikely, as though a lot of our coaches are going to be at the game. So I don't know who's going to be the head coach. I don't know who's going to be interning as the interning head coach. I don't know who's going to be coaching the defense. I don't know who's going to be coaching the offense or the special teams. But a lot of our guys have COVID. A lot of our guys were in close contact with those that did test positive. A lot of those are considered high risk. A lot of our guys are not going to make their appearances, and a lot of our guys are not going to be able to attend and coach this football game as we take on the Buccaneers in a shortened week, as we do play on Saturday at 1 p.m. It's not looking very good for the Detroit Lions. I mean, they're without coaches. They're in a shortened week. They're already struggling. They're already dealing with injuries. This Lions team is dealing with a lot right now, and the last thing they needed was a COVID outbreak, but that's exactly what they ended up getting. It's unfortunate to see. Hopefully everybody can make an appearance. Hopefully everybody can make it back on time, but I do think that's very, very interesting to know that, Darrell Bevell might not make the game. The Lions might be on their third head coach of the season this week, and I don't know the last time they've had 3 coaches in a season. I don't know the last time an NFL team has had 2 different interim head coaches. I mean, obviously for different reasons, but I can tell you the last time a team had 3 different head coaches in the same season. It's been a while if it ever has happened before. It's going to be a very interesting scenario to see how the Detroit Lions act, to see how the Detroit Lions play this out, and to see how they react to this big COVID outbreak between the coaching staff. But it should be an interesting football game. Julian Okwara should be back. Expect to see him. Hopefully our Pro Bowl players are back, and hopefully they turn out for a big game. Hopefully Hockenson can get to that record. Hopefully Julian Okwara can make an impact, and hopefully our coaches can actually make it to the game to coach the football game. But again, it's seeming unlikely at the moment that they are going to be able to make it. I will obviously keep you updated as the week goes on. I will obviously keep you updated as things continue to develop and as things in the organization continue to evolve and improve or obviously get worse. I'll keep everybody updated as the week goes on, but I do think that these updates are important. Again, a lot is going on in the Lions organization right now. I did think it was important to talk about, and again, as I said, I will keep you everybody updated throughout the week as to what our coaching situation looks like, to what Julian Okwara's situation looks like, and everything else that might happen within this given week. However, with all of that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If you are new to the channel, as I said in the beginning, please consider just taking those 2 seconds it does take out of your day to like and subscribe. It would make my day. It would help the channel out more than you could know. It would help me out more than you could know. And if you could do that out of the kindness of your heart, just like and subscribe to the channel. It takes 2 whole seconds out of your 24-hour day. I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all of that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If there is more Lions news before tomorrow, I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that is all I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank y'all for watching. Bye, guys.